Hey guys, my name is Katie, and I own a little business in Huntsville, Texas called Fox Yoga. And we're trying to get across borders as we're growing here in this small town. I have a lot of people who've shown some interest in some online courses. So this is what we're doing. This is yoga for beginners, so it's a perfect class for you to take if you just want to tone up on some of your foundation poses, the warrior poses, sun salutations, and just get a little relaxation and some stretching. If you want to learn something like a headstand, then you need to watch the inversion course. So make sure you're taking the right class for you. I strongly suggest taking this class every now and then, and of course I'm going to change it up as the series goes on. Put in a new beginner course, because I don't want people to watch the same thing over and over. Also, I am used to teaching classes where I'm in front of the students, so I can see them, I can hear them, they give me feedback when they grunt. I see the stress and the strain and confusion in the face. I don't see you, I don't know you, unfortunately. I don't know your medical history. So I need you to use common sense. If you just had a knee replacement, a shoulder replacement, a hip replacement, you're seeing your chiropractor right now because you have a bulging disc, then this is probably not what you should be doing until you get those things healed and get clearance from your medical doctor. If you're someone who's just trying to get in shape, and otherwise you're very healthy, heart's healthy, everything your doctor says, hey, get some exercise, this is a great place to start. But we always say, listen to your body, let go of any expectations that you have on yourself, because over time you will get better. If you've never done yoga before, or if you haven't worked out in 20 years, you can't expect to come in here and do this with ease. The warrior poses are something that's a challenge for even advanced yogis because they're just intense. I mean, you're holding static movements, you're aligning everything. I mean, it's just an intense pose. So I want you to just let go of all of that. I'm going to show you a couple things that I have for props. If you have them, great. If you don't have, some of the stuff you can kind of, make do with what you have around the house. I'm actually sitting on a blanket. Just a nice, this is a little saddle blanket, and I just have it folded up. It gives me a little lift in the hips when I sit down. So if you have tight knees, tight hips, or it's uncomfortable to sit on the floor, a blanket just underneath your tush actually can really help with that. So grab a blanket if you have one handy and if you want to try it. This is my purple bolster. Oh, I'm crawling over, sorry. And we're live, and I make a lot of jokes in my classes, so if I say something stupid, I'm keeping it on the video, just letting you know. This is a bolster. It's a pretty heavy duty pillow that we use a lot of times in yoga classes for restorative poses, for relaxation poses. Chances are you don't have a bolster laying around in your house, but you can get a few pillows for, at the very end of yoga, we do Shavasana, also called Savasana, corpse pose, relaxation pose. So you kind of hear different versions of however people want to call it. So you can use pillows instead of a bolster or a big blanket rolled up. So just keep that in mind. Most of the time, bolsters are around $50. You can find them on a good sale. I got mine. I have a few in my studio, of course, and I got them on a great sale for $20. So just so you know, you can hit it pretty good. Yoga blocks. They're just a foam block. There's nothing special about them whatsoever. You can pick them up. Name brand places want you to pay $20 for one block. You can usually find the blocks at Marshall's for about $4 a block. So, do a little shopping. The block is probably going to be your best friend in yoga because we're all different heights, different flexibilities, and a yoga block just helps. I always say bring the floor a little closer to you. It's not cheating. It lets your body adjust to the pose a little bit better. So I'm actually doing a series called What the Prop. So go ahead and take time, find that one if you want to know more and play with these. But if you don't have any blocks, if you have a stool, a small stool, if you have kids or grandkids, and if you still don't have that, then we just kind of use our bodies as our lift. So I'll show different varieties with and without blocks. So get what you need. Get your pillows, get your blankets, get your blocks or stools. Again, this is what I call my humble beginning studio. So guys, you might hear some road noise because I live right off of the highway. You might hear dogs barking in the background because it's at my house, and then I have dogs in the neighborhood. So the idea is, as we progress with this, it's up to you, spread the word, because the more students I have, the better facility that I can have. So let's rock this, and then maybe in the next couple months, we'll be doing yoga together in a beautiful studio somewhere. Sounds nice, doesn't it? I'll take it outside too from time to time. And make sure you have all your stuff. I am not going to be playing music through the video. I want you to play whatever music speaks to you. And every day that can be a different type of music. Sometimes I put on my Pandora and I put it on The Killers or the Ting Tings. And other times, a good yoga station, if you just want some nature sounds, is Soothing Waters. Or maybe, you want to do it to Beyonce today, whatever. It doesn't matter. I just suggest play whatever music speaks to you, whatever mood you're in. And that's just going to form your practice. When we get to the relaxation, I will ask you to put on something quiet, something soothing. It can have words or not have words. It's just whatever feels good to you. So I'm pretty unorthodox on the music and the tone. And it's just because that's how I am. Some days I need nothing but the sounds of the ocean. Other days I want the ting tings, screaming at me about whatever. So, okay. I think I've talked enough about music. So hopefully you set that up. Grab your props and let's just get in a nice comfortable seated position on or off the blanket. It doesn't matter. Legs are crossed. Another variation, if you have the flexibility again in the knees and the hips, is to bring one of your legs on top of the other. This actually eases some of the pressure off the low back. But a lot of times we can't get our feet up there. So just pick whichever one's comfortable, it doesn't matter. And we're gonna start with our hands on our knees. Palms up is for receiving, palms down is for grounding. And let's just close our eyes. Listen to the music that you set for you. And I want you to just take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. We're centering that mind and body, syncing them together, breathing. Start to notice the expansion of the chest and the stomach. When you breathe in, chest and stomach expand. You get a little Buddha belly, as I call it. And on the exhale, everything sinks back down. Let's take a few more breaths here. Take your mind, not just to the sound of your breath in the back of the throat, but the feel, that rise and fall of the chest and the stomach. Shoulders starting to relax. And on our next breath, let's bring our chin down towards our chest, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the back of the neck. Nice and easy neck stretch. We're just going to let gravity do its work for our neck here. If you have any contraindications, fusion of the cervical spine, any disc problems, be very mindful of your neck. On our inhale, we're going to roll that right ear up towards that right shoulder. Taking a deep breath in and exhale. Relax both shoulders down. You should get a nice neck stretch on the left side of your neck. It should feel really good. On your next exhale, let's bring our chin down to the chest, slowly rolling one vertebrae at a time. And on your inhale, left ear up towards that left shoulder. Deep breath in. And exhale, releasing those shoulders down. Palms are still up or down on your knees. Again, palms up for receiving, palms down for grounding. Let's exhale, chin back to the chest. Let's take our fingertips, place them directly over the eyebrows, and gently lift our gaze back to the front. Release our hands down to the side, palms up. We're going to inhale to seated mountain. Shoulders are down and back, dynamic fingertips. If your shoulders don't let you go this high, that's okay. Find your lift here. I'm lifting through the spine, so I'm not hanging out here with my arms up. You really want to lift like you're trying to touch the crown of your head to the ceiling. Again, shoulders down and back, dynamic fingertips. What does that mean? It means I'm not here. I really put a lot of energy there. We're gonna go into some side bending on our exhale. Let's take that left hand. We're gonna slide it gently across the mat until we feel comfortable. Reaching those right fingertips to the side wall. I'm keeping my hips on the ground. Left shoulder, left elbow nice and relaxed, and my gaze is turning towards those left fingertips. Getting that nice deep stretch, right side of the rib cage all the way down to the waist. Let's take a few breaths here and notice that expansion. Makes it really tight across that rib cage. One more breath. Now we're gonna press up gently with that left hand. Use those core muscles, both arms coming up, seated mountain, exhale to the right. Leaning over, getting those left fingertips reaching to that side wall and lengthening left rib cage all the way down to the waist. Gaze is towards those right hands. Let's give one more breath here. Inhale, taking it back to that seated mountain slowly. And let's bring palms and fingertips together. Exhale, hands coming together at the heart. And I want you to gently close your eyes. Bring your chin down towards your chest again. We're going to set our intention for today's practice. Every yoga practice, set an intention. It can be whatever you want it to be. It can be a physical attribute. I want my focus to be balance, strength, flexibility. It can be an internal focus. Today, I'm going to practice gratitude, kindness, forgiveness. Or it can be in honor of someone. Maybe it's for your spouse, for your child, for your dog, for your partner. Let's take one more gentle breath here, breathing in and out through the nose, setting that intention. And then relax our hands down to the side. We're going to twist to the right, still in our seated position. If your knees are getting uncomfortable, just switch legs. Sometimes it helps to switch it about halfway through. We're going to twist again to the right. Let's take our left hand on the top of the right knee. We're going to reach back behind us with that right hand, sitting up nice and tall, chest is proud. Gaze is turning towards that right shoulder. And spinal twist, exhale, relax into that spinal twist. We're not forcing it, but we're easing into it. On each exhale, see if you can just relax more into it. It takes a little bit of work to learn how to relax into your stretching, so don't worry if you still are trying to fight it and force it. That's completely natural. Just don't overdo it. Now on our next exhale, let's take it back to the center, nice and slow, taking a deep breath, giving our back time to return to neutral before we twist to the other side. So let's now take right hand on the top of that left knee, reaching back with that left hand, sitting up nice and tall. Start to gently twist towards the left. Your gaze is towards that left shoulder. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Be mindful of your breath. Keep breathing here on your exhale. Trying to relax the tension in the spine. On your next exhale, let's bring it back to the center, nice and slow. Deep breath in. Exhale, good. And we're going to go into our tabletop, which is another foundation pose. So some people like to roll up onto their hands and knees. I have an ankle issue that doesn't let me do it. So if you do, I suggest just coming onto hands and knees. We're going to put the blanket to the side. And we're going to start working on some kneeling sun salutations. Now, these are not easy. And they take a little bit of time to get. So if you're not perfect at it, that's okay. Just be patient with yourself. So let's start. Knees and feet are a little bit of distance apart. They're not all the way together. About hip width or a little closer. And we're going to sit back towards our heels and bring our forehead down to the mat. This is child's pose. You might find you cannot touch your hips and your forehead at the same time. That's okay. Bring your forehead down to the mat. I want you to start to reach those hands out. Just Inch them out as far in front as you can get them. Plant your palms, spread your fingertips, and we're going to inhale to a kneeling plank. So just take a breath in, shoulders come over the hand, and my back is nice and flat. My knees are set. Again, it's better to have your tush a little high than it is to let it arch back, okay? So we want to keep our core nice and tight. Resist the urge to walk your hands out because that's easier. Keep your hands underneath the shoulders. If you notice, I keep looking at you in the camera like I can actually see you, but let's pretend I can. So hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to go into a chaturanga. This is one of the challenging poses of yoga. It's a yoga push-up. Elbows are close to the body, as close as we can get them, and we come down and we pause it. And then we set ourselves all the way to the stomach and then into a baby cobra on our inhale, lifting the chest just enough. If I pick up my hands, I can keep that chest lift. Bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Exhale down. We're pushing back to that child's pose. Use your arms pushing up, sitting back towards the heel, forehead touching. Take a little break. We're going to move through 4 of those. We're going to try to flow one breath, one movement. So start to reach your hands out, plant those palms, spread your fingertips, inhale, kneeling plank. Back is flat. Exhale, chaturanga, bending those elbows and pausing. Setting ourselves onto our stomach, peeling up to that baby cobra on our inhale. Exhale down. And take it to child's pose, pressing back slowly. Hips to the heels, forehead to the mat. Start to inch those hands out. Spread your fingertips. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Set yourself down. Inhale to that baby cobra, lifting your chest. Exhale, back down. Pressing back into child's pose. Hips to the heels, forehead to the mat. Reach those hands out. Spread your fingers. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, chaturanga, pausing all the way down and then lifting that chest on your inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Let's go through one more. Hips to the heels, forehead to the mat. Hands reaching out. Spread those fingertips. Inhale, kneeling plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Setting ourselves all the way down. Inhale to that baby cobra. Exhale down. And we're going to take it to downward facing dog. From here, I like to take it to my knees, turn my toes up, and then bring my hips up and back, sinking my heels to the mat. So this is another foundation pose here. Now, fingertips are nice and spread. We make what we call a starfish hand. I'm going to lift it up. Make sure you can see starfish hand. Fingers are nice and spread. Your head is between your elbows. So I'm not looking out. And I don't have my chin tucked, okay? My head is between my elbows are soft, and I'm gazing back towards my toes. Resist the urge to walk your hands closer, okay? That seems like the right thing to do, but I want you to keep them a little further out, just where they were. Now we're gonna make a little check here and get in the perfect downward facing dog. So we're gonna take it to plank. Plank is just like our kneeling plank, except we're not on our knees. Hands are just underneath the shoulders and we're on our toes. Resist that urge to walk your hands out, right? That makes it a little bit easier. I want hands underneath the shoulders. Now from here, press back, downward facing dog. Hips pushing up and back, head between those elbows, elbows nice and soft, heels sinking towards the mat. This is the distance that your hands and feet should be. Now, hold that downward facing dog. I know your shoulders are like, I hate you. But start pressing your heels one at a time to the ground. We're just warming up those calf muscles, those Achilles tendon. If at any point you need to take a break, just come down to your hands and knees. Take a break. It's your practice. But I challenge you, whenever you do yoga in your home, it's so easy to stop because you don't have anyone watching you. Just pretend like I'm watching you. Maybe I'm like the government and I can see through your computer. Okay, let's exhale, both heels down to the ground. Now we're going to move into standing. Here's one of the tricky moves. Bending both knees gently. Walk your hands back towards your feet, nice and slow. And we'll reverse cliff dive up. We inhale, start to flatten our back, sweep our arms out and up, palms and fingertips together. Exhale to the heart. Good. Now our cliff dive and reverse cliff dive are some very foundational moves that we do. So let's just go through a few of those. Again, I'm watching you. So I'm going to turn to the other side of my mat because I can see you better over here. And I want your feet mountain width apart. I want you to notice my back as I go down and when I come back up. It stays flat throughout most of the thing. So hands or palms out. We're going to inhale. I know you can't see my hands when they come all the way up. Again, the more people we get, the better quality this video is going to be. So let's inhale, reach those arms up. On our exhale, we cliff dive down. So we start to hinge only at the hips. My back stays flat, and then my hamstrings, once I pass the midline, that's about as much as they're going to let me go now. And then I can start to relax my head and my shoulders into that forward fold. Now, if your hands don't touch, this is where that block comes in handy. If you found, whoa, this is as far as I go, a block comes in handy so that you can, again, rest on the block and then relax your head and your shoulders into that forward fold. If you don't have a block, guess what? You have your shins that you can rest on or your thighs that you can rest on. You just keep a little bend in your knees so you can prop yourself up. All right? So find that forward fold. What's important? Protecting this low back, because if you don't, you can really do some major damage to your discs, okay? Especially if you already have some back problems. So let's come back up. We reverse cliff dive up. So we do it in reverse. We sweep our arms up, back is flat, coming back up to standing, hands reaching over. Let's touch palms and fingertips together and draw them to the heart. We're going to do that 2 more times, but a lot faster. Hands at our side. Inhale, reaching to that standing mountain. Exhale, cliff dive down. Back is flat. Past the midline. And then I'm going to relax into that forward fold. Reverse cliff dive up. Start to flatten your back, coming up on your fingertips. Sweep the arms out and up. Palms and fingertips together to the heart. One more time. Hands at our side. Inhale, standing mountain. Exhale, cliff dive down. Back is flat. And release all the way, stretching those hamstrings. Reverse cliff dive up. Back starts to flatten. On the way up, palms and fingertips together. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Now I'm going to move the block to the side. Keep it handy. We're going to go through some warrior poses here. These are some big foundation poses. Again, the warrior poses, we're just doing 1, 2, and reverse. They can be pretty intense. So if you are like, oh my gosh, this is crazy hard, just keep practicing at it. So let's start with our feet on the mat, toes facing the front. We're going to step back with our left leg. Leave your right leg forward. I want you to step as wide as you can. And my heels are lined up from my right heel to my left heel in one straight line. If I step out to the outside of my mat, then it's at a diagonal. So I don't know if you can see from your angle, but make sure your right heel and your left heel make a straight line on your mat. And my left toe's facing towards the front just a little bit. And we're going to lunge on our right leg. Make sure the knee's over the ankle. Bring your arms overhead. Shoulders bothering you today, you can bring them at 45 degrees. Or you can even leave them at the heart. Notice I'm lifting through the spine, using that core strength. I'm not just here. I am trying to lift the crown of my head to the ceiling, lunging on this right leg, and I'm pulling my feet to opposite directions, like I'm splitting the mat apart with my toes. That's the tension that's going on with the legs. All right, let's just release our hands down and step our feet back together. We're going to do it on the other side, and we're going to make it flow, and then we'll take it there. So let's step back with our right leg. Line our heels up together. Left leg is forward, toe facing the front, lunging on that left leg, both arms coming overhead. Warrior 1. We're going to hold our warrior 1. I want you to find your breath. You're going to feel it strengthening this left leg. And you might feel a little stretch in that right calf. That's completely normal. You're not going to break. The warrior poses are excellent, even if you've had knee surgeries, hip surgeries, because they're not strenuous. They're big muscle strengtheners because you're using so much dynamic tension. I know you're asking me to shut up because you're tired. Okay, let's move into warrior 2. We're going to take our hands and we're going to turn them shoulder height palms facing down. If you notice, my chest went from the front and now it's facing the side. And now I'm gonna turn that right foot and make sure it's parallel to the back of the mat. So now I'm still lunging, but it's more of a sideways lunge. So I moved from warrior one to warrior two. Okay? Turn your head and look over that left hand. Warrior two. We look towards the front. That represents our future. Our bodies are in the present. That right arm is our past. It's a part of us, but we don't focus on it. Check your legs. Make sure your knee is in alignment with your toes. As you get tired, you let that knee drop on the inside. Pull it out. I know, I'm pretty mean. But yet people keep coming to my classes. I don't really understand it. Now, let's go to reverse warrior. Right arm drops. Left palm turns up. Reach those left fingertips. Two versions. You can reach straight up, turning your gaze towards your fingers. If you want to get a little more dynamic, start to lean to the back of the room, getting a little more lengthening straight through this left rib cage. Again, I'm watching you. If you see, I keep looking at you. So just find your breath. If that left leg starts screaming at you, just come up for just a little bit and then take it back down. Make sure your knee stays over the ankle. On our exhale, let's windmill our hands back to warrior two. We're still lunging, and you still love me, I can tell. And we're gonna take it from here to triangle. Start to lean towards me with that left hand, and then bring your left hand on the inside of the left foot. Right arm comes straight up. I'm gonna start to straighten that left leg. Now, notice I came up higher with that left hand. I can rest my hand on my shin. Shoulders are stacked. One of the biggest problems is people can't rotate those shoulders yet. So the higher you get, the easier it is to rotate your shoulders. This is where a block comes in handy too. A lot of people like to put that block, and then they can work on stacking their shoulders. So you're pretending like there's a wall behind you, and you're touching it with both shoulders and with both hips. It takes practice. Don't expect to get it on day one. You should feel a lot of opening up in that groin area on the left side and feel a stretch on the top of that right hip. And your shoulders are saying, oh my God, are we done already? So let's exhale, windmill both arms down. Put the block to the side, come up on your right toe. Let's give a nice chaturanga and sun salutation here. So step back with that left leg. Let's find our plank. This is beginner, so we're going to come down to our kneeling plank. Give our chaturanga on our exhale. Pause. Set ourselves prone and into baby cobra. Inhale. Let's exhale down. Downward facing dog. Pushing up to those knees. Turn those toes. Hips coming up and back. Let your heels sink towards the mat. Let's take one more breath. And put a big bend in both of your knees. Start to walk your hands back nice and slow. Reverse cliff dive up. Palms and fingertips together to the heart. Good. I'm going to split sides on my mat, but you don't have to. We're going to do everything on the right side. So let's take right foot in front, left foot steps back. We're setting our base for that warrior one. Heels are lined up together. Right knee is over that right ankle. What do I mean by knee is over the ankle? This is good. This is bad. That knee has traveled over the ankle. You're going to hurt your knee. So just set your base. Find a mirror or a friend if you can. And that left foot's turned in a little bit. It makes it easier on that left knee because my hips and chest are facing in the same direction as my right toe. On our exhale, let's move into warrior two. We're going to take our hands shoulder height, palms down. And I gave a little twist on my toe. So now my back foot's parallel to the back of the mat. Still lunging on that right leg. And I'm going to gaze over that right hand. Warrior two. As you get stronger, you'll get a little deeper and deeper into these warriors. Let's give one more breath. Remember, lifting, chest is proud. On our exhale, reverse warrior. Left arm drops, right palm comes up, reaching those fingertips straight up or reaching a little bit more to the back of the room. Now, you're not holding on for dear life with this left hand, but it can take some of the weight so that it's not quite so uncomfortable for that low back. And exhale, warrior two, palms down. We're gonna windmill into triangle, start to lean forward with that right hand, and then right hand comes on the inside of that right foot, left arm comes up, shoulders stack, then we straighten that right leg, trying to keep our shoulders and hips in the same form. Some people might find that they can go all the way down and still keep their shoulders and hips stacked. Other people can rest on their fingertips. Again, don't forget to use that block if that's handy for you. More often than not, I see a lot of people using their shins. When you use your legs for a prop though, just make sure you don't put pressure on the knee. You keep a tiny little bend in that knee so that you don't hyperextend. You ready to come out of it? Let's start to bend that right knee. Windmill your hands down. Let's step back into a lunge. On our left toe, plant those hands. Step back, find your plank. We're going to go into kneeling plank, chaturanga. Bending those elbows and pausing. 3, 2, 1. All the way down to our stomach and baby cobra. Let's exhale down. Pressing back, downward facing dog. Hips coming up and back. Good. Instead of walking our hands to the feet, we're going to take our feet to the hands. Let's step forward with that left leg. Bring it as close to your hands as you can. Right leg meets it. Reverse cliff dive up. Palms and fingertips together. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. We're going to do one balancing pose, and then we get to do the best part of yoga, which is when we sit there and we take an adult nap. Okay? When you get to the real classes, we'll flow them truly like a true yoga class, and we'll add a lot more to it. But this is an instructional video, so take it for what it is, instructions. All right, tree pose, best balancing pose out there. Right leg grounded. We're going to start to bring that left leg up. For beginners, I recommend below the knee or making a tripod with that left foot. Find that focal point. Chest and core are nice and proud. Hands can stay out to the side. You can reach them straight up. You can bring them hands to the heart. So just find your tree. If balance is a real issue for you, remember, you don't want to look at me in tree. You want to find a focal point, something that's not moving. My knee is opening. I'm trying to open up my hips, so I'm not here. I'm here. A wall can be handy. A lot of people like to go to a wall. Just have something that they can feather touch to help them while they're balancing. We're going to stay here for just a little bit longer. Find your breath. It's really easy to hold your breath when you're balancing. Good. Let's take it down nice and slow. Releasing that left leg down. Shake it out. Shake out your right ankle, your right knee, and we're going to switch sides. Left foot is grounded. Right foot, we're coming below the knee. Or maybe we make a little tripod. A tripod is very handy because you can just start to lift your toe. So instead of feather touching your hands against the wall, you're doing the same thing, but you're doing it with your toe. Great place to start. Feeling confident? Slide that leg below the knee. The knee feels like the perfect place to put your heel, but it's going to start to cause knee problems after a while. So trust me. One side might be easier than the other. And on our exhale, let's ease it down, shake it out nice and slow. Good. We're going to get down onto the mats, and we're going to move into our relaxation pose. So if you have your music, if you want to get up before we get down onto the mats, just turn your music down, put it into something slow and soothing. It doesn't have to be nature sounds. It can be whatever speaks to you. Some people like words. Maybe you're in a lovesick place. I don't recommend playing love songs if you're just broke up with someone, but find something that is going to bring you peace, comfort, refreshing, whatever it needs for you. And then when you get here, let's come down to our backs onto the mat. So bolsters is when we want to keep these handy, or your pillows from the bed, and we're just going to come on our backs. If you feel strong and you want to use your core, then challenge yourself and see how slow you can go before you get down onto your backs. Don't feel like you have to do this, especially if you have a back injury. And let's relax down. Hands next to our hips. We're just going to give ourselves a moment of rest, and then inching our heels a little closer towards our sit bones. Hips, knees, and feet in alignment. Palms down. Let's inhale and lift our hips as high as we can off the mat into bridge. And we're melting back into the shoulders. We're finding balance between the heels and the shoulders. If you want, you can lift one leg. If you want a little more challenge today, if you're like, I got bridge, then do a single leg bridge. Hold it for a few seconds, maybe 30, whatever feels good. Your mat, your practice. Whether you're a true beginner or someone who just wants to go over some of the information to set those foundation poses, just to make sure that your alignment is key. Doing yoga at home is so awesome, but you just don't have that one-on-one. You don't have that person to ask you. All right, let's come down on our exhale, rolling slowly from shoulders all the way down until at the very end we release those hips. Walk your feet out a little further from your sit bones. Take your shoulders out, and I want you to bring your hands palms up next to your side. Start to relax your shoulders. Close your eyes gently. Find that breath again, breathing in and out through the nose. Let's go with a 4 to 4 count. We're going to breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and out 4, 3, 2, 1. And so count in your mind 4 to 4. And now let's start to take our time moving into, again, our Shavasana or Savasana, relaxation pose, corpse pose. I want you to take your time and figure out what's most comfortable for you. If you don't have pillows or a bolster and you want to keep your knees bent, I recommend just walking your feet to the outer edge of the mat and letting your knees just fall together. It takes away the muscle use that it requires to hold your knees up. You might be more comfortable with both legs extended. Just let your feet flop to either side. If you have pillows or a bolster, it's not for your head, but if you need one for your head, you can do it. It's for underneath your knees, just to give you some support underneath the knees. Again, resting on your back, it just takes off some of that pressure of the low back that you have. So take your time. I want you to find what's comfortable for you. I want you to set your music, set your mood, set your tone. At this point, if you know how to relax and you want 10 minutes, 15 minutes, feel free to turn me off, guys, and namaste to you. Thank you for watching. If you still need some guidance and you want me to be the timekeeper, we're going to stay in this position for 3 to 5 minutes. So feel free to leave me on. We'll give you silence here in just a moment once we get our relaxation. But I want you to make sure the mood is set. Setting the mood is so important. Again, bringing your hands, palms up next to you, shoulders nice and easy, and eyes gently closed. Finding that breath again. And start to relax the muscles in your face. If your eyebrows are knitting together, just release them. Lashes, gentle across the cheeks. Letting your jaw just slide down into a comfortable resting position, keeping your lips together, but allowing for that part in the teeth. And let your breath just return to a normal rhythm. It's a perfect rhythm for you. It represents your life. You're not breathing, you're not living. And we're all unique in that sense. And on your exhale, just let that right shoulder just melt underneath you. Allow that warming and relaxation sensation to travel all the way down that right arm. into the right hand and the right fingertips. As you exhale, melt that left shoulder and left arm into the mat and the earth underneath you. Releasing any more tension in the spine and the hips and the knees and the feet. We're going to stay here for a few minutes. And I want you to find your breath. A couple things that you can do. Just take a little break, a mental timeout. Some people, that's easy for them. If you find that your mind is wandering, 3 minutes can seem like an eternity here. Start counting your breath, maybe inhaling for 4 and exhaling for 6. And just bring your mind to the breath, giving it something to do. If you're like me and you're a visual person, I like to go to what I call my sacred place. And I just challenge you to start setting a sacred place for you. It's somewhere that you go. It's only for you. No spouse, partners, kids, parents, pets are allowed there. And it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be peaceful, calming, comforting, refreshing, energizing. And it doesn't always have to be the same place. And don't set any limitations. It doesn't have to be somewhere that you've actually been to. And when we get to where we start moving around again, I ring a bell. So when you hear that first ring, you know that we're coming close to the end. I want you to keep your eyes closed. Move your feet and your hands around if you want to, or stay still for just a few more breaths. And then whenever you're ready, I want you to turn onto either side into a fetal position, whatever side is most comfortable for you. Resting your head on your hands, knees gently bent towards your chest, and just take a few breaths here. Again, eyes still gently closed, holding on to that peace, holding on to that relaxation for just a moment more. And then taking your time, let's press back up to a nice, easy seated position facing me. You can use the blanket if you want to. We're not going to be here long. I want you to bring your hands back to the knees, palms up for receiving, palms down for grounding, shoulders nice and relaxed, and close those eyes again. I'm going to take just a few breaths here, and this is for you, breathing in and out through the nose, unless you're congested, of course. Finding your strength and the energy, even if you're ready for bed. I don't know where you are in your day. And just remember, when you allow yourself to take the time, not just in yoga, but in that quiet, meditative state at the end, you're giving yourself new energy and allowing yourself to be filled up, and so that you have more to give back to the world and to yourself. Let's take one more breath together, breathing in deeply through the nose. And exhale, releasing fully the old and the stale air as we made room for the new. And let's open our eyes. Guys, we always end our practice with namaste. The spirit in me sees the spirit in you, even through the computer screen. It was my honor. It was my pleasure. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If it was your first time doing yoga, congratulations for giving it a try. And I always say give it about 3 tries for the same class. So I would say take this a couple times before you decide, I cannot do this. And then don't give up. Join me in the gentle flow. So thank you again so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed the road noise and all of that while you were in your Shavasana. Again, whenever we get a little more following here, then we'll be able to get a little bit beautiful of a studio. But I'm gonna miss my humble beginning studio. This is actually where I hold my classes as well here in Huntsville. So again, you guys have a beautiful day.